Welcome to part 6 in our journey through Psalm 23. Thank you so much for coming on this journey, and I hope that it's been a blessing and encouragement to you. So far, we've looked at Psalm 23, verse 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And of course, today we are going to look at verse 6. If I can just read this verse to you, it says, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." I want you to notice that David makes a certain statement. He does not mix his words in any way, but makes the statement, "Surely goodness and mercy." There is no way that David has gone down a path that says perhaps or we hope. He has made the statement, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life." David is tenacious. He's bold in making this statement. This is a statement of absolute confidence in the goodness of God. I don't know if you know a bold person. At times I know that my wife can be really bold. If we're at a restaurant and perhaps food that hasn't been prepared properly, I'm kind of one of these people where I just let it slip, but she kind of wants things right. She's kind and loving, of course, but she kind of has a tenacity about her in these things. We see David with this most incredible, tenacious boldness about him that declares that the goodness of God will follow him all the days of his life. But the truth is that David actually had a lot of emotional ups and downs in his life. He was not always this bold and tenacious about his belief. If you look at 1 Samuel chapter 27, verse 1, David says, and David said in his heart, "Now I shall perish someday by the hand of Saul." That's not somebody who made the statement, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life." How about Psalm chapter 6, verse 8? "Get away from me, all you who do evil. The Lord has heard my sobbing." Here's another one. Psalm 42, verse 11. "My spirit, why are you so sad? Why are you so upset deep down inside of me?" Now remember this. This is the guy that said, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life." Isn't it interesting that you can go through a range of emotions, but land at a place where you say, "Surely goodness and mercy will follow me"? Isn't it amazing that although he had a contrast or a range of emotions, David is at a place where he still declares the goodness of God. We all go through emotional ups and downs in our lives. I know for me personally, I've certainly had my fair share. At times, I've had mountaintop experiences in the purposes of God like you, but I've certainly had moments in my life where I've gone through a deep, dark valley. In my mid-20s was probably, out of all times I would say in my life, where I really felt at my lowest. I was definitely a positive kind of guy and always believed the best, optimistic. But I remember going through a season where I felt really crushed. I felt really broken. I'd been in ministry for a number of years and just kind of hit a bit of a difficulty in my journey, and I just felt a little bit burnt out, if I was to be honest. I remember praying and just really asking God for help, and like David, I was expressing a range of emotions. One day I felt real good, and perhaps later on that evening I felt down and I felt discouraged. But I want you to know that if that's you today, that's okay. It's okay to go through a range of emotions, because one thing that I've discovered is that as you continue to journey with the Good Shepherd, as you allow him to lead you, to love you, to help you, to strengthen you, to encourage you, to bless you, that at some point you'll get to a place where you will say, "Yes, I went through a difficult season, but I can say, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life." I remember looking back at that time, it probably lasted for maybe about 6 months to a year. And I remember in the moment, it felt like an eternity. But in hindsight, I can see the goodness of God, because I discovered something, and it's this: mountaintops inspire Christians, But valleys, they mature them. And there was a maturity that was produced in me because of the difficulty. And God actually used it to shape me, to change me, to heal me, and to set me free. When you think about the Garden of Gethsemane and what Jesus himself experienced, and we know that prior to Jesus' crucifixion, he prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, and it was a lonely moment for him. It was a moment where he was suffering, he was in pain, he was in agony. The Bible says that he sweated drops like blood. And in that moment, he went over to his friends and Peter, James, and John, hoping that they would be there for him, but they were all asleep. And there is Jesus in this lonely moment with his Father. And he prays this prayer and he says, "Father, not my will, but your will be done." You know, these valleys, these moments that we go through where we feel lost, we feel hurt, we feel broken, it produces something in us that if we're willing to put it into the hands of the Good Shepherd, something is produced where we get to a place of surrender and we say, "Father, not my will, but your will be done." The word Gethsemane is in fact a Latin word, and it actually means oil press. When you're in that place of a lot of pain, hurt, and suffering, God uses it for his glory, and oil is actually being produced in your life. I look back at that season that I went through in my mid-20s, and although at the time it was difficult, it was hard, I felt a lot of pain, I felt a lot of hurt, but I look back and I can say oil was produced in my life, because I was willing to sow that season into the hands of the Good Shepherd, and I can truly say, goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. Times may be tough. Things may be difficult. There may be a change in a job situation, perhaps a loss of work. Maybe you're in a time where you're having a bit of difficulty with your young adult son or your young adult daughter. Maybe you're feeling lonely. Maybe you're feeling rejected. If we are willing to put those seasons into the hands of the Good Shepherd, I can promise you that God is so good. He loves you so much that you will look back on this season and you will be able to say, "Surely goodness and mercy followed me all the days of my life. He kept me. He sustained me. He looked after me." And I can say, "I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." What a beautiful psalm. What an amazing expression of the goodness of God. What an incredible heart that God has for you and for me. The psalm started off when we were in episode 1. David said, "The Lord is my shepherd." The great God of the universe loves you so much. He cares about you. He cares about every intimate detail in your life. He's helping you. He's molding you. He's moving you. He's guarding you. He's defending you. Thank you so much for coming on this journey. I hope that you've been blessed. I hope that you've been encouraged. And I hope that you've seen the beauty of Jesus. And we can truly say that I am under the expert management, compassionate, tender care of the Good Shepherd.